This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's
Off
got
the
him.
left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken. And look, it's Ken there in the morning. Good morning. Oh, wait, we have coming in hot from a vehicle in Southern California or somewhere in California. Joseph, good morning, Joseph.
Bay Area.
Bay Area, just as bad. It's going to all sink into the ocean one day. And people in Arizona will have beachfront property, I tell you.
I was going to say, if you believe the freaking rumors going around, it's going to be sinking with phase two.
So speaking of rumors, OTAs are going on. And, of course, OTAs have the best clickbait articles you could ever read in the NFL. Already they're coming out. Case Keenum has world-class arm over Caleb Williams. Yep. You gotta love. They gotta try to stir a little controversy up there. However, though, the articles that I saw were basically, lauding the additions the Bears have made in the offseason. It's like, okay, but then I caught the one, where Case Keenum's arm is so awesome, and it makes Caleb look so weak. It's like, whatever. Then you turn around, the other articles just basically laud, hey, here's the great additions the Bears make. They have saying this, though, that Case Keenum is helping, and you would assume this is why they signed him. They brought him in to help mentor Caleb a little, and I guess some of that is happening. But come on, man, it's OTAs. I mean, OTAs are news-wise, are probably more of a nothing burger than anything. I mean, it's cool that they're back on the field, they're practicing, they're preparing for next season, but people take the smallest little thing in practice and turn it into, oh my God, we're winning the Super Bowl because of this, or oh my God, the season's now over. Oh no, Case Keenum arm is the biggest arm in the NFL now. Like, okay. They went to the gym in the offseason. Look how buff they are. We're going to kill everyone. Okay.
Yeah, that whole, they're in their best shape of their lives type of nonsense. Unless the motherfuckers packed on like 10, 15 pounds of muscle, I don't give a shit to hear any of that.
Even then, it's just like, guys, it's OTAs, man. It's like, it's not like you're not deciding the playoffs today. You're not even deciding the starting offense or defense today, like personnel-wise. You're just starting to go through the motions of getting back into football activities. Maybe you're doing, you're starting like in the Bears case, in the Lions case, or in every team that has new staff, OCs, DCs, head coaches. You're installing your new offense. You're installing your new defense. You're installing your new everything. Depending on who you are.
How can you include Detroit in that? It's the same offense because it's Dan Campbell and Morton Salt that created all this.
But they have a new defense now, don't they? I mean,
no, they don't even have a new defense because that guy's been there for years. He's going to run it. He's going to run the same scheme and call the exact same plays.
Oh, well, in that case, but like the teams that don't have to change anything, they're just starting to get back into the swing of things. But I thought it was funny how, Case Keenum is, got a monster arm compared to Caleb. Like, dude, it's OTAs 1, 2, yeah, okay, right, whatever. And I don't care how good your arm is; it's how good you play on the field of play. I mean, look at some guy. There have been guys with monster arms that were not good quarterbacks, but they had monster
J.P.
arms.
Lossman.
Yeah.
It's not even a glorified scrimmage. They're in literally shorts and helmets, like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're just starting to get football activities started. Like I said, doing basic installs of offensive and defensive formations, just getting back into the swing of things, like, installing some new stuff. But the signings that the Bears made, word got camp, of course, and of course is what he said. Oh yeah, this guy's a dog, man. We love him. He's awesome. He brings this intensity. Of course, you're going to say that about the new guy. What do you say? Hey, Ken, what do you think about the new guy you guys signed, Joe? Oh yeah, he's terrible, man. He's slow. He's late to practice every day. He drives a really bad truck when the rest of us have sports cars. I mean, of course you're going to say, yeah, man.
Stole the last breakfast sandwich in line.
Yeah, of course you're going to say good things. Look at Joe's like, you got me. I guess the Vikings got crazy and extended Quezzy.
Yep, multi-year deal.
Yeah, can't say I blame them.
Well, Ken, the big thing out of Detroit's OTAs is Amon-Ra was missing, and he missed the Pro Bowl or whatever because of an injury or something. So now people are saying, is he rehabbing an injury on his own? Does he need to get surgery? Like, all these rumors are swirling. Crazy OTA talk.
You heard it here first. We broke it with Broski Bear. Amon-Ra St. Brown missing the season due to injury.
Done. Stick a fork in him.
Look at it. Just as Mitch comes in. Oh, he says that Broski drools today. Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what I'm drooling over. I just found out there's a distillery about an hour away from where I live that's actually becoming pretty noted. And that's going to be a Saturday trip for me tomorrow. I'm going to go sip some North Carolina bourbon.
So does that mean bottles are incoming there, Broski? Absolutely.
I'm sure. I'm looking forward to tasting their cask strength. They have a double oak that looks pretty good. It's gonna be a nice Saturday.
So I should be sending you my address here shortly then for a bottle.
Hey, I'll taste them out if they're good. We can I can pick one up for you.
There we go. Broski's in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, Michael.
Michael, yeah. It's Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. It's I believe it's called Southern Grace Distillery, but the lineup of bourbon is called Conviction. And the reason it's called Conviction is because it's actually a distillery that's in an old prison.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nate. Good to see you, brother.
So
really, an old prison that's now a distillery.
Yeah.
How very North Carolina of them.
I was gonna say Caribou County, man. There you go.
I mean, we got a distillery down here. It's a Voodoo Vodka. They're out of Gulf Breeze, Florida. I've never checked them out. I've meant to in the 8 years plus I've been here now. I still haven't checked them out. I mean, I should have. 6 hours from you, Michael. Yeah, not that far from me. Probably about 6 to 8 hours as well. That's about what you are from Pensacola, right? About 6 or 8 hours, maybe. Broski don't have good taste. He drinks tequila. Okay. Well,
I definitely drink. I drink high-end tequila. Let's not get confused. I literally pay a lot of money for good sipping tequila, but I love bourbon. I love rye.
If it's pure guave tequila, I can drink it. If it's other crap you buy that they call top shelf, that's not. I can't. And look at Joseph is picking us up coffee at 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven. I muted his mic for now as he was talking to the people there at 7-Eleven, but he's picking. Joe, you better be picking up coffee for all of us. That's all I got to say. I could use some coffee. Well, I've got my Bear 6 Actual.
See, this is when we need Joe and Broski to get together and get us some coffee with some whiskey in it.
Coffee and bourbon, coffee and whiskey. It's all good to me. Why not? Yeah, Fredericksburg has some good distilleries there too. That's the thing about you go to the Bourbon Mile in Kentucky. I got to do the Bourbon Trail, I should say. I got to do that. You drink Scotch. Keep it classy.
It's so funny. I've been trying to develop like the palate for Scotch my entire life because my dad drinks Scotch. I mean, he'll drink rye, he'll drink bourbon as well, but he's really a Scotch person. I mean, between the blended Scotch that's kind of like extra peaty and smoky, and even like a Highland Scotch, like I just haven't developed the taste for it. It's kind of crazy. But yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess you're drinking a lot of that in Detroit without St. Brown at practice.
Yeah.
You like how I did that, Ken?
That was pretty good.
Some gasoline too.
And these reporters might be drinking some of it with some of these articles we're getting out of there. I mean, it's like, I get it, because I mean, we get it. We do a daily NFL podcast, and it gets hard to have things to discuss for a full hour every day, right, about football when there's nothing football really going on. And these beat writers, they got to produce an article every day. And let's face it, most of their articles now are 2 to 3 paragraphs, and that's it. So it's not like they're producing massive copy, right? A couple of paragraphs, they did their article. I mean, but do you really have to do this clickbaity crap that just doesn't, like Broski, I bet there are beat writers who are writing now, St. Brown out for season with undisclosed injury. Oh, wait, that's not how they do it. Lions all-star receiver reportedly out, or they'll have some they'll do some other stuff like that. $32 million a year.
They posed it as a question, Ken. They posed it as a question. Is Amon-Ra going to make it back this season? Or like could Amon-Ra St. Brown miss the entire season? Click here to find out.
No, they don't even do that, Joe. They do it like, could Lions lose $25 million a year receiver?
Yeah,
that's how they do it.
Exactly.
And it's like, really? And so like Motown Mitch is sitting there like ready to go grab the pitchforks and the torches, go down the office of this writer and torch his building. He's like, hell no. But I mean, this is what OTA time is. So now Case Keenum, according to some of these clickbait writers, is the best quarterback in the NFL because he has this massive arm. It's like if Case Keenum was that good, he'd be starting lots of places. He wouldn't be QB3 in Chicago. Because I don't even think they have him ahead of Bajan on the depth chart.
Hey, Ken, did you see that interview with it was like Kaplan, David Kaplan and Tyson Bagent a couple of weeks ago? Kaplan and Guff with Tyson Bagent. Really good interview. Really like that kid too, man. I hope the Bears. This is his last year under contract, I believe. I hope the Bears keep him, and he just seems like, I don't know, man. He seems like he has a lot of potential still.
No, I mean, he's a fan favorite. I mean, everyone likes Bagent. Undrafted free agent rookie. When we get him, comes in when Justin got hurt, won a couple games. I mean, it's kind of like Brock Purdy, except he didn't take over as a starter and take him to a Super Bowl. But Bears fans love him in general. The kid looks poised under pressure. Played a lot of college ball, right? He's the all-time touchdown leader for college football for touchdowns. I mean, the kid's good, got some potential, and he's a fan favorite. Look, as long as his market price doesn't go through the roof, I don't see why the Bears don't re-sign him because they've got them what teams look for, right? A solid backup quarterback they feel they can trust if they have to.
Yep.
That's why, like Mitch Trubisky in the Bills. Like Bears fans and Pack North fans, like, oh my God, Mitch Trubisky trash. The Bills organization, like, we love this kid because if Josh Allen goes down, we feel that we can trust Mitch Trubisky because he fits us, we fit him. That he's gonna, can fill in for 3 or 4 games and we're not gonna really miss anything. You want that in your organization to have a backup quarterback that you at least feel right can do it. The Packers have that with Clifford.
Yeah, wrong quarterback there, guy.
John Dorn is now the number 3. John Dorn is now the number 3 in Green Bay.
But I mean, that's what you want, right? Like Green Bay got what they needed out of their backup last year when Love went down early. Mm-hmm. And the best thing, like for them was what happened early. So this kid was still fresh off playing, preseason games, and hadn't sat on the bench for 4 or 5 weeks, and had a little rust form on the arms. There was no rust to knock off. He had been playing games, so I mean that worked out. That was a situation that worked out good for Green Bay last year. So you want a backup that you can have faith in, and Bajan is that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, my take on backup quarterbacks has really changed over the last few years. I used to be all about, you need a veteran backup. You got to have some guy with experience and stuff. It's like now I actually preferred like another young, hungry guy with talent who's out to like still make a name for himself. Like I just feel they play with a little more edge, and just have a little bit more to bring. In theory, I understand like wanting to have like the veteran presence, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Quarterback's such an important spot. It's like I'd rather have the young, hungry, talented kid back there just in case he's got to carry for half a season or something.
Well, I think the thing that's different with Bagent though versus some of these other young backups was Bagent had a lot of college game experience, more so than some starters in the league have, right? Like this kid played a ton of football in college, and then mentally he's smart. He's a very smart kid, and I mean, now granted, this is Eberflush who said this and his staff, but they were impressed with his football knowledge and how he was almost like another coach on the field is what they called Bajan. So some of these kids are super football smart, super high football IQ, I guess is what we could say.
For sure.
Bajan's one of those kids. He falls into that category because then you get some guys who don't have the high football IQ, just have talent, right? Bajan has a little bit of both. So I think there's pieces of that too. It's like if your backup not only has some talent, but it has football IQ, they're value added at practice. They're value added during the game because during the game, you saw it last year. Bajan and Caleb are talking in between series. They're going over things together. So they're both still learning in some ways. In some ways, Caleb is learning from Bajan. Bajan's learning from the stuff that's happening on the field with Caleb, making him better. And now he's looking at things differently. And I think that's the other good thing about a good quarterback, QB1, QB2 relationship. I think that goes understated. There has to be a good relationship between QB1 and QB2 because they help each other grow just as much as coaching and everything else.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to not have a quarterback room that's got a bunch of infighting.
Yeah, Luca, is that what goes on in the Vikings locker room? Is that what they're doing in JJ this offseason at OTAs?
That's part of Quezzy's program.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's why they've been known as the Purple Peter Eaters.
Yeah, hey, broski, but theirs are curved like Viking horns.
Yeah, that's what I call them. Not the Vikings, I call them the Vikings.
Joe must have some really good coffee at his local 7-Eleven to come up with stuff for that. And you notice how he did the side profile smile like we're making a coin? After that comment, like, photo it.
The 7-Eleven coffee is not that great.
Well, that's because you didn't go to the White Hen.
Yeah.
Well, the White Hen might be more of a Midwest thing, I think, maybe. Or the Wawa if you're on the East Coast. Gotta love the Wawa. Good morning, Dwayne.
I think that it means it's more likely that you do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Luca. If it's a woke community, it's more likely. I mean, you guys want to talk about Caleb. I mean, let's talk about Minnesota. They should just change your flag to the rainbow with a horn. Just saying. I mean, and the Packers, don't even get me started.
You know that when they score a touchdown, they use that big old long Viking horn. Looks like a shofar. They blow on each other's buttholes.
Hey, Doran, you're right. You should get you some Bear 6 Actual coffee. Some Bear 6 Actual. Yeah.
Yeah, if they make Raider Foxtrot or something, we'll see.
We can get a hold of Steve. See what he can do. No,
See,
Bear 6 Actual is actually his number one seller. So
I wouldn't doubt it.
yeah, good espresso roast. But yeah, man. I mean, OTAs. What other rooms? I mean, I think that's interesting. The one about St. Brown. Not these OTAs are not the mandate. Are these? Was this a mandatory OTA set or no?
Nope.
This
is just OTAs, not mini camp there. The OTAs are the optional ones.
No, but some of the OTAs are and some of the OTAs are not. Right? Isn't it a mix of the two? Like,
yeah, there's voluntary and then there's mandatory mini camps.
Yeah. Well, these are all
mandatory mini camp and the organized team activities there, and most of the time the OTAs are not mandatory for whatever reason.
Well, they're mandatory for the rookies, like rookie mini camp.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they should just make everything mandatory. But like, how can you be a part of the team? The team's having practice, and you just decide I'm not going to go today. I mean,
Aaron Rodgers does it all the time.
I was going to say, when you've made enough money in the league and have played for long enough, you're going through the motions at that point.
But that's part of the process, is going through the motions to get yourself back in the set and get yourself in the. Here's the thing: you don't go to these practices. Now you're not doing things with your teammates, and that has an effect. And like, if you're a quarterback and they're installing new stuff to the playbook, sure, you may think it's not going to take you long to grasp it, but why not give yourself a couple extra practices with it and form that relationship with the receivers better, where you guys get on the same sheet of music faster? To me, it's like, if your team is practicing, you should be there practicing with your team.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else. Like, to me, like, Aaron Rodgers hasn't showed up to a mini camp in how many years, right? And it's like, we always talk about how he has one Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's a huge factor, but to me, it's like, you're kind of showing your teammates, like, I don't have to show up to this shit. It's like, I don't know. It just kind of, to me, it kind of makes it seem like you're not all in. And it's not just Aaron Rodgers. I think, like, these big time players that don't show up to mini camps or to OTAs, you're kind of sending a message to your team, like, this is for you guys, not for me. And I don't know, just,
I get what you're saying there. And if it's not a guy that's been in the league for many years, I would have the same feeling. But by the time these guys have been in the league so long, unless you're installing a new offense or you got a bunch of new receivers, something like that, I don't think it's that important.
But Broski, I thought these guys. Oh, Broski might be on a call. He muted. But he's here. But Broski, I mean, these guys supposedly love football. Don't you think they'd want to play football whenever they could? I mean, they love football. Oh, but I don't want to practice? Wait a minute. I thought you loved football, right?
Yeah, I think that's a real half-ass excuse, personally. Like, I don't, especially if you're going to be on a new team, especially if you're going to be on a rookie. Honestly, especially anyone under contract with that team, in my opinion, you should be there. I mean, does it really take that much effort to wear shorts and shoulder pads and go through a few drills like in the off season? I think that's a big deal. Honestly, I don't blame coaches for like getting on players for missing that stuff.
And also, you know what? This is just my belief. I think Super Bowls start in OTAs, dude. Like Super Bowl runs, like they start from the very beginning, dude. Like, so if you're not there, it's just kind of like you're showing your team, like, I don't really care about this shit. Like, when it gets to training camp, I'll care, but like, and it's not just Rodgers. Like I said, there's a lot of players that pulled out of OTAs. Yeah. But like, I hate to do this because you guys are gonna call me a homer for it. But you know who doesn't miss OTAs? Max Crosby. Max Crosby is there for every single snap, every single camp. Like, and he doesn't have to be. I mean, according to like he's been in the league long enough now, and he's made enough money that he could be like, I don't really need it.
It's because he loves football. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought you loved football. If you love football, you'd want to be out there and practice.
And he's a leader on the team. He's a guy that other guys look up to. And so if he's not there, it's like, it gives the other guys the idea, like, hey, we could slack off. This doesn't really mean anything. We're not trying to win a championship.
He leads by example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Joe, what do you think about this? So going back to what I said earlier about Amon-Ra missing OTAs, do you think he's really missing OTAs if Ben Johnson and Randall L are still there as coaches for the Lions? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't want to pretend to know Amon Ra's mind state, but maybe maybe he just figures that the injury was a little worse than was led on, and he wants to make sure that he's 100% healthy before he goes out there and like tries to run on it and tweaks it or something.
Sure,
I don't know.
Not even being present. You know what I mean? Like that to me.
Yeah,
like,
you should at least be there. You should at least
be there, like get treatment, whatever.
Yeah, on the sidelines, like cheering your teammates on.
The only reason for not being at OTAs should be you're not under contract. But at this point, everyone's under contract. Okay, if you're in a contract dispute, it is a leverage tool, so I understand that. Even though it's not as big as a leverage tool as I think players think it is, because when they just decide not to show up for OTAs, even when they're under contract, what's the leverage of, well, I'm not going to go to OTAs if I'm not under contract. You don't show up anyways when you're under contract, so who cares? Unless you have like an injury that precludes you from even being there, like you're literally here at the Andrews Institute, doing your rehab with the doctors here or getting your procedure done, then you should be with your team, right? I mean, even if you can't practice, just be there, because just being there does make a difference. Because now you're still seeing things but it's a waste of my time. No, it's not. Not if you love football. Not if you want your team to succeed. Now you're sitting there seeing what they're doing. You're talking with the fellas. You're still showing that you're a part of the team. When you don't show up and you don't go to OTAs, you're not part of the team, right? Because these guys are all hanging out. They're all talking. They're in practice. They're hanging out. They're in the locker room together. You're not there. You're not part of the team.
Yeah, but what about these players that'll have pretty much OTAs in their spare time where they're getting a hold of multiple people from the team, and they're all working out together, running plays and all that?
But those dudes go to OTA. Like, those are the dudes who are at OTA.
Rodgers did it a lot, and he didn't go to OTAs.
For the most part, though. But, I mean, okay, so doing the extra workouts, like where these guys get together in the offseason, that shows their commitment to each other. But then more times than not, they go to OTAs too. You get some one-offs, like Rodgers wants to go throw with his buddy, wide receiver, like MVS. Hey, why don't you come down to the house? We'll toss the ball around. Okay, great. They hang out with one or two of their favorite guys on the team and throw the ball around while they barbecue, drink beer, and have ayahuasca parties. But they're still not at practice. I mean, what's the point if you're getting together with these guys in the off season and then you skip practice? Because so now you're saying, hey, Joe and I hang out in the off season and toss the ball around, but then I don't go to OTAs because you guys aren't as cool as Joe. I mean, that's what that's saying. So
if it's only one or two players, then I can see your argument. But when it's the whole receiving core, or at least the vast majority of it, I don't see it as that big of an issue.
So only the receivers are cool enough to see me during the off season. Great
I think
leadership.
There's even more to it than that. It's like you're basically saying, like, I'm going to run my own practices. Like, it's to me that's kind of like, I don't know.
And
organized team activities are exactly that. Organized team activities, like where coaches are involved.
This is true. When you're meeting on your own time, you don't got to follow the NFL Players Association guidelines. None of that. You can run it as hard or as soft as you want to.
Yeah, I'm not. What I'm saying is that I agree with Ken on this one, that like, you can do all the off-season stuff on your own with your wide receiver core that you want to, but go to OTAs as well. Like,
I mean, Rodgers not showing up gave Love more reps, and it's not just about Rodgers, Dorn. I mean, he was just one of the many examples. It's like you're not being there with your team, and the whole thing, it's a team activity. Okay, so now you're saying, well, I can do my own stuff. I don't need the coaches. So now you have no faith in the coaching staff. I mean, and look, it's not like we are nitpicking, but for a reason. And it's not just Rodgers. It's other guys who do it too at other position groups. It's like it's a team activity. So, okay, so now I'm too good to do what my coaches say at practice. I'm going to do my own stuff. And, and then you're not cool enough to hang out with me in the off season because you're a defensive lineman and I'm a wide receiver. I mean, come on. It's like, it's a team activity. It's team building. And look, I don't know, there are study after study after study of, teams that do things together, groups that do things together as teams, whether it be in the business world or the sports world. The more you do together, the more you build the cohesion, the better your team is. So, but now we got these prima donnas like, well, I don't need to practice. Well, I guess you just don't love football and you don't like your team and don't have respect for your coaches. I mean, honestly, to an extent, that's the way I kind of look at it. There's very few reasons. Like, I get it. You need to miss OTAs because you've got a family event. Your brother's getting married or something. Got it. That's acceptable, right? People miss work for that. Got it. Because during the season they won't miss for it, but they'll miss an OTA. I mean, that's acceptable. There are some, reasons why these guys miss. Maybe it's okay. Or they made plans on a trip a year out before the OTA schedule is out. They spent a bunch of money on this trip. The OTA schedule came out, but then they at least go to the team and seek permission. Hey, or let them know, I'm going to be here for that week. Just so you know, I won't make it, and here's why. Okay, there's a communication piece at least, right? So like an excused absence. But these guys who I'm just not going to go, then why are you even playing still?
Yeah, I mean, like what Joe said earlier, it's a huge culture building, locker room building, good team habit building, winning mentality building thing to do. And then from another perspective, it's like, dude, you guys are getting paid millions of dollars. Take your job seriously. Like, show up for a couple days in the off season with the team. Why is that such a big deal?
And there's another aspect to it that we didn't, like, Ken kind of touched on it, but like we didn't really talk about it, is that like you're basically, if you're not going to OTAs, you're basically saying like coaching is for the other guys. I don't need it. Like, yeah. Everybody needs coaching, dude. Like, I don't care if you've been in the league 15 years, there's still something you could do better than you do. Like, and so you're basically saying like, I don't need to work on my craft in the off season. Like, I can go to training camp and get all the coaching I need. Like a winner, a person who has a winning mentality is going to want to get better from the very beginning. It's like, they can't wait for OTAs because they're like, they can't wait till the off season starts so they can get in the weight room so they can.
They're chomping. Let's go.
But it can also be that they're going out and getting it from, say, retired coaches that don't want to do it, that are known more of like to have almost like the guru type of mentality there, to where it's, hey, now I got more voices teaching me this instead of the same voice over and over and over again.
I mean, but even then, you can do that. Look, it's not like you could do that next week. Show up at OTAs this week, go meet with that mentor guru guy next week.
Good point.
Because now you're telling your coach you don't matter. This other guy does. I mean,
yeah, I don't need your coaching. Like that's to me, that's kind of what you're saying to your coach. Is like, I don't really need your coaching. That's for these other guys,
And that's kind of, Erica asked this question here, and it kind of rolls into that, right? Like, who will underachieve, who will overachieve? I think the teams that overachieve will be the teams where like they get max participation at OTAs because they will be better groups. And the underachieving teams will be the teams where guys show up, at camp in week 2 of camp. All right, I'm here. We can start now. Those teams will be behind the power curve. I think there's something to it. And I think Broski said it. Joe said it. I think there's something to it. Like if these teams where everyone shows up at OTAs and they do these things together, they tend to overachieve because they are a collective unit that's bonded together more than, say, a unit that doesn't do that. Look at the Redskins last year. Those guys were at all the OTAs, all the practices. You can hear about, guys just not showing. They showed, and they overachieved big time last year. They were a very cohesive group, a strong unit that knew each other's weaknesses and strengths and played off it well and covered each other well. That's what you get from OTAs. You start learning, like, hey, my buddy to the right needs a little help on this. I need a little help on that. And they start building that now. They get ahead of the curve, so they overachieve. And it compounds. It's not like you can just pick it up in week 1 and catch up. No, you're behind the power curve for the whole season. Yeah, see, Luka's cheap. I mean, he only spends $30K a year traveling, being a road dog for his team. So he's like, I'm going to OTAs just for the free food, man. I'm cheap.
I just wonder, like, if the Lions don't do well this season, if Amon-Ra is going to want out.
I mean, well, he just signed the contract. That's his problem. What was it, a 4-year deal for St. Brown? I mean, he's gonna have 2
But
years up.
he signed it before Ben Johnson left, and before that's why I just I don't know. I just kind of think I'm not saying he's going to ask. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. If they don't succeed this year, do you think that he might be he might see the writing on the wall and just be like, you know what, I want out of here.
Yeah,
Well,
very, very well.
John, I don't know if I put a number of wins to lack of OTAs, but I'll say that teams that get max participation tend to perform better than those who don't. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
I completely forgot what the hell I was going to say.
We were talking about St. Brown.
Eric's question.
Oh yeah, the St. Brown there. It wouldn't shock me if the wheels fall off, that if you start getting the disgruntled players, and St. Brown is one of your superstars there. So if he ends up wanting to leave, that might cause a domino effect.
So he has a potential out after the 27 season. There's no out for him after 25, 26, but after 27, there is a potential out. I don't know if that's a team out or a player out or a mutual out or whatever, but after the 27 season, there is a potential out. Spotrac doesn't tell me what kind of out. Let me see if I can read into it here and find it. No, they don't. Here we go. Nope, that's an injury guaranteed signing. Yeah, it doesn't tell me what kind of out, but it says there's a potential out for 2028, which would give the Lions $6.7 million dead cap if they took the out. St. Brown this year is going to account for 13.9 on the cap. In 26, he's going to account for 33 mil, and in 27, 28 mil, and in 28, 41 mil is his cap hit. Go ahead, Broski.
I got to.
I was just going to comment on Eric's question. I like his question about underachieving and overachieving teams this year. I'm going to stay in the AFC for all my answers here. So for underachieving, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins. And for overachieving, I am going to go with the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I can agree with the Patriots one. And kind of the Dolphins, but I don't really expect them to do too much this year. They've lost a couple of pieces, and then not only that, you're starting to see a little bit of the disgruntled attitudes popping up, and then you got the giant question mark: is Tua going to be able to keep his brains in his skull this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think the Texans have done enough. I think they've just been very stagnant, since Stroud's rookie season. And I actually think their offensive line is worse than it was 2 years ago. They lost that one receiver they had, the little dude, I forget, Tank Dell, is that his name or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge blow for their offense. He doesn't seem like he's going to be the same player. Maybe he will. Not sure. But I don't know, man. I haven't really seen them improve their roster that much. And so I'm not willing to just lean on them and be like, oh, yeah, they're going to win another 10 games. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they will.
I mean, I'll take some low-hanging fruit here. One team that'll underachieve will be the Kansas City Chiefs because they won't go to the AFC Championship game this year. And they've gone for the last 7 years, so by them not going, that's going to be considered underachieving by their standards. But, kind of to go on what I said with JV show Wednesday night that Ken and I were on, look, they've gotten worse over time. They're trying to, they had a young defense. Their defense was really young. They were the second youngest defense 2 years ago. Their defense is young. It's their offense that every year, the last couple of years, has been very slow out the gate. The offense production has been going down. They keep losing guys on the line. And they say, yeah, but we're getting younger. Yeah, but the younger guy's not as good as Tooney yet. It's going to take them a couple years. So, there's a reason all these stud linemen are like 28, 29, and 30 and not 25, right, for the most part. I think they're going to be an underachieving team in a division that's gotten much better and maybe the new AFC North of the AFC. Like, that AFC West is going to be very tough because the Vikings, or not the Vikings, Jesus. The Raiders have done things, the Chargers have done things, and the Broncos have done things to all make themselves a lot more competitive in that division. And Kansas City could find itself maybe even not making the playoffs this year, and they'll be an underachiever. I think your overachievers are also going to come from the AFC West. I think the Raiders will do a lot better than what most people expect. In fact, I think that entire division, the other three teams in that division, I think people might expect the Chargers to do a little something because of Harbaugh. But I think, and people might think that Denver will fall off with Bo Nix a little bit, but they got Peyton there. I think though the Raiders are that team though they'll be the surprise to people, but really you shouldn't be because we thought they'd be good last year and they got the injury bug just crushed them early.
And Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, and Gardner Minshew, and now maybe they've corrected it. I don't know about if Geno's the true answer, but he's definitely a huge upgrade from what they had. But I think you can just look at the AFC West. You'll have an underachieving team in Kansas City by their standards and overachieving as a division across the board. And now that in the AFC, it's the North and the West are the two divisions probably to look at, and the NFC is the North and the East. And you can look at the other divisions like in the West, people will say that, the Rams will be the overachievers because they're probably going to win a lot of games in that division.
I don't know if I'd necessarily say Rams are overachievers because a lot of us are expecting them to win double-digit games.
Legit Super Bowl contender, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah, San Francisco will underachieve because people still think San Francisco is good.
I got one for you. I got to throw out a caveat though. Like by overachieve, I don't mean make the playoffs. But I think New Orleans, if they end up starting Suge at quarterback, I think that they could overachieve, meaning like they'll win 2 or possibly 3 games over the over-under that Vegas is giving them.
Like over-under Vegas is giving them.
I don't know.
Bill brings up a good point, though. Overachieving doesn't have to even mean you make the playoffs. Overachieving could be you're looked at like a doormat team that might win 3 games, but now you win 7.
Yeah,
or
I think that could be. I think that could be the Saints because if you look at their roster on paper, like you see like maybe a 5-win team, maybe, right? But I think with Suge, I mean, it's possible they could win like 6-7 games.
I'll tell you what, that's a good call, Joe. I like that call because you know me, I like Tyler Shuck. I think he's going to be good, and you know what?
I think Shuck is going to be good too.
If the Steelers are smart, they really do start Will Howard at the beginning of the season, which I think they will. They could kind of be an overachieving team also because their defense is loaded, and no one's talking about them at all. All you hear is about, the Ravens this, the Ravens that, Joe Burrow's offense this, Cleveland's defense that. No one's talking about the Steelers.
Yeah, because I think people don't believe in Will Howard, but the thing that people are forgetting is that like all the Steelers actually need is competent quarterback play. They don't need like a great quarterback. Their defense is loaded. Like, if they get competent quarterback play, meaning, like, if Will Howard just doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to win games, man.
Minnesota proved it last year with the Ginger Jesus. You don't need a stud quarterback. You need a game manager. If you've got personnel, you just need a good game manager. They have 2 great receivers up there, right, and a good tight end. And as long as Ginger Jesus put the ball where the ball was supposed to be, they did good. And he did that for the most part of the year. That's why they won 14 games.
I would be interested to see how Will Howard and DK Metcalf connect. Like, if they end up having a good connection, like, because if he can be better than Kenny Pickett, like, they're going to, which isn't asking a whole lot. Like, like you just got to be better than Kenny Pickett, like, or Justin Fields. Can you do that? But, to be fair, Justin Fields had him at 4-2. Like, it wasn't the prettiest thing you ever saw, but he had them winning games, and I don't think they should have went away from him, to be honest with you.
The Jets are going to be interesting to watch with their Justin Fields experiment because I personally think he should have gone to Miami. I think that team is more set up culture-wise, play-wise for what he is or what he, because look, we know Justin's got a long ball, and they've got the speed team to play long ball in Miami. We know Justin likes to run, and they're built for him to run in Miami. They don't do short and intermediate, which has always been the rub on Justin. But let's be honest, part of that is because There wasn't short and intermediate for him to really go to. So that might be part of the problem there. But I think watching Fields in New York, it's going to be interesting. They just gave him $40 million for 2 years to be their starting quarterback after Aaron Rodgers left. I mean, interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the Jets do with Fields. I don't think. And look, at Fields is not a bad quarterback. Like you said, he was 4-2 last year with the Steelers. He's shown improvement throughout his career from year to year to year. He keeps showing improvement in his game. Could he be the next Geno Smith, meaning the guy that people wrote off that all of a sudden has he gets to that plateau or that breakout, and he puts it all together, and does it happen with the Jets? That's why the Jets are going to be interesting to watch, because the Jets have a good running back. They have a good wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Yeah, their O-line's kind of suspect, which he tends to get suspect O-lines, but that just means he'll run the ball a lot more. So the Jets are going to be interesting to watch from that standpoint, as well as their new head coaching staff and everything else. The Jets are going to be an interesting team to watch out there in the AFC.
Hey, but you forgot one thing, Ken, like with that Geno comparison, because I don't think it's totally off. I think, Justin could, revitalize his career. But in order for Geno to do that, he had to leave the Jets. And that's the thing. Is I think Justin is going to have to leave the Jets in order to do that.
Yeah, I didn't like Justin going to the Jets. I thought that was the wrong place for him to go. I think Miami, you would have been the backup, right? See, this is what I love about the offseason, Dorn saying stuff like that. Yes, he would have been the backup to Tua, but let's face it, Tua is one hit away from retirement. And I think he's more suited for that offense. I go back to Mitch Trubisky again, because Trubisky, after his attempt with Pittsburgh didn't work, he went right back to Buffalo. Why? Because Buffalo suits him.
Josh Allen needs a friend.
But but whatever it is that they do in Buffalo suits Mitch Trubisky, and Mitch Trubisky, his skill set, suits Buffalo. And yes, Josh Allen needs a friend, but that's all part of it, though, right? I'm like I said, we all scoff at the idea of Mitch doing well up there for them, but they don't, because he fits their system, he fits their style, and I think I don't see Justin Fields fitting the Jets' style. He would have been better off. There are a couple other teams he would have been better off going to, where stylistically, play-wise, he probably fits them better. Now, look, I'm saying that, and we don't know what AG is going to install there in New York. We don't know what New York's going to look like. Are they going to design this offense around Justin Fields' style? Do they even have the players to do that? So it's going to be interesting to watch.
It's the New York Jets. I don't have too much faith that they're going to be able to work much out. We've seen for many years, at best, they'll get a little bit of glimmer and flicker or something every now and again, but that's about it. And if KOC could do it with Sam Darnold, I have no doubt that he could do it with Sam Howell too. Because Howell, when he was on the Redskins there, didn't look too bad.
He threw a lot of picks, but you can coach some of those.
Yep.
But I'll give you another. So I gave you an overachiever in the Saints. I think an underachiever this year is going to be the Bengals. And I say that because we expect that because they have Joe Burrow that they're going to make the playoffs, but they have no defense, and you can't score 40 points a game in the modern league. So I think they could end up underachieving and ending up with 6-7 wins, they have the offensive talent that they could win 8 or 9 games, but I also could see them winning 6 games, and
they're going to lose some shootouts.
And then going into their next, off season saying we got to build a defense, guys.
Man, they better be handing out freaking bottles of nitro at freaking the Bengal Stadium there, because it's going to be a heart attack waiting to happen watching every game. Oh, we got the lead. Are we going to be able to stop? Oh, no, we got the lead again.
There are some teams that are just straight up quagmires out there. Look at Arizona. I don't know what do you? Arizona is one of those teams that
Eric, are you talking to me? Are you calling me Mr. Clean, Eric?
Yeah, he is. We know that Ken loves the Keebler Elf. That's his fantasy quarterback. But you look at the Cardinals. 1 week they're pretty good, and they play a really good game. The next week you're just kind of like, well, yeah, the Keebler Elf needs to go. I mean, they're an interesting team. I mean, there are a couple teams like that we don't really talk about often. Seattle might be like that this year. I mean, what about the Colts? The Colts could be interesting this year.
The Colts, or not the Colts, Seattle, I think that they're going to be ones that are going to massively underachieve because of how bad that offensive line is. And we know how well Sam Darnold does when he's got pressure in his face.
Yeah.
I think we should start a pool. I think we should start a pool for which week of the season Eric's going to tear his Danger Russ poster off the wall.
I'm going to say week 4. And then it's going to be Crab Legs running the show.
Dude, I'm trying to tell him. Their schedule is like, bro,
Horrendous.
they have a chance to be 0-6. You know what I mean? Like, before they even have a chance to win a game. Like, we looked at their schedule. Remember, we went through it game by game, and not one of us could find a single win in that first 6 weeks. And we were trying to be generous, and we're like, I don't know, dude. Like,
yeah, I actually
think it'll be rough.
Giants. Like, I was like, they could be a 6-win team. And then when the official schedule came out, I'm like, they'll be lucky to win 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who is it? Who is this now?
The Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, their defense, I think they might win a game or two early because of their defense. Kind of like the Bears last year. The defense bailed the Bears out a little bit early, which gave Caleb a little bit of early success and masked the issues of the offensive coordinator issue. I think the Giants might be able to get one early because they do have a good defense. And early on, weeks 1 and 2, 3, the defense is kind of like, if your defense is on point, your offense can kind of be a little sucky and be okay. You know
Ken, you're laughing. What's so funny?
That's what's so funny.
Oh.
I'll give you the Saints and maybe the Cowboys. I don't think they're beating the Commanders, and that's a hard maybe for the Cowboys.
The Cowboys are interesting for me defensively because Bears fans can tell you Eberflus can design a good defense, and they've got some talent. They're not completely devoid of talent in Dallas. They have talent on the defensive side of the ball. I'm wondering how good Dallas's defense will be this year. Their offense, I just know Dak is going to find a way to screw it up. Here we go, pick 6. Here we go, interception. Here we go. Let me slide with no timeouts and be short. I mean,
I'm telling you, I still love Jordan Love's last snap of that playoff game. Here we go. He's got a little bit of troll in him. He's not full Rodgers, but he's got a little bit in him.
I mean, Dallas is an interesting team, though, because, Dallas to me is like, okay, you guys remember in the 80s and 90s when they did the college rankings? Every year Notre Dame would be in the top 5. And then the season would start, and they very quickly follow the AP top 25. Well, the Cowboys are the same way. Every year they're favorites, and then the season starts. And they've got talent. Like, you look at their roster, and you're like, they've got some talent in Dallas. They really do. What's their issue?
I agree with that. Like, they actually have a talented roster, both sides of the ball. And they replaced what's-his-face, the guard, was it Zach Martin, who retired? With Tyler Booker from Alabama, that guard in the draft. So that was a good pick. They added another edge rusher or two, if I'm not mistaken, in the draft. And added to their O and D line in the draft, if I remember correctly. They really focused on their trenches as well.
I'm sorry, dude.
I'm saying they're like an 8-9. If things go right for them, 10-win team, probably like an 8-9 win team, but a solid team. Talent perspective, both sides of the ball for sure.
Eric is fanboying for the Giants so hard. I gotta say it, dude. Like, Eric is gonna be watching the Giants game in Sierra booty shorts, dude. Like,
I wouldn't go that far with it.
Every time Russ throws a touchdown pass, he's gonna be dancing to Sierra goodies. Like,
my God,
I'm telling you, dude. Like,
wow.
Hey, you know what? Look, I've never seen somebody like stand for a terrible team so much.
Look,
Like,
you got to respect the guys who like Big Blue. We don't give the Big Blue fans
it's,
enough
yeah, and
credit.
I'm not trying to shit on the Giants as an organization. Like I said, they're one of the premier organizations in the league. They have 4 Super Bowls. They have a storied history. They're just not
Cut
a
it
good
out,
team
Joe.
right now.
Cut it out. Don't give him credit. He said, Joe, cut it out. So you have to stop giving him any credit, Joe. Cut it out. You're not allowed to do it. No,
It's
Joe's
like-
not wrong. And it really, we know what they've been looking for the last couple of years because, well, they told us all in Hard Knocks they were looking for a quarterback. And, they weren't in a position to draft one again this year. So I think they're trying to make lemonade out of lemons is what they're trying to do right now. And they're like, well, we can't get what we want, but let's at least try to fix these other, do something with these other areas.
I think
And-
Dart could be okay if they would, Dart could be all right. Yeah, but the Raiders are better than the Giants, though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
And they have
We had a
much
terrible
cooler
year last
stadium.
year. We had a terrible year last year, but come on, man. Like,
Well, look at Vegas has a much cooler stadium. Your stadium in New York is not called the Death Star. It isn't. It's just called the I got mugged in the parking lot. Okay, so I'll take the Death Star over the I got mugged in the parking lot in New Jersey. Eric, when were you born? Out of curiosity.
Apparently, he's going by that picture that he has up not too long ago. Was he like 8 years old? Like, I don't know, 6?
yeah, but you were born in like 2002, so I mean, what does that? Like, we went to a Super Bowl in 2002. We went to the playoffs in 2016. We went to the playoffs in 2020. So
He is young.
we haven't been terrible your whole life. Like, we've been bad for a majority of your life, and we've been bad for a majority of mine.
I feel old now. He was born in 2000. I feel old.
Oh, you should, Ken. You are the resident grandpa of the show.
He's my oldest son. He's a little bit old, 2 years older than my oldest son. By the
I
time
mean, but
you were
let's-
born,
let's
I
look
was
at
already. Look at this. When Eric was born, I had just come home from living in Korea for a year and a half.
You are one old bastard. Holy
Look at the all-time series, dude. Like, the Raiders are probably up on the Giants by quite a few games in the all-time series, dude.
That's not true, man. They have won. Well, what was the last Super Bowl was the 80s. That part is true.
The last Super Bowl was in '84.
Yeah, I've held that. I've held those trophies. Mr. Al Davis's trophies. Actually, I got to hold at the Raider shop in L.A. Did that right before I deployed to Iraq. It was one of the things I did. Because I've always liked the Raiders, but yeah, the Giants. Look at. I mean,
Ooh.
no, Eric wasn't even a thought in his daddy's nutsack yet when they won their last one. That's how young he is.
Yeah, the Raiders are up on the Giants all time, 9-6.
Ooh.
So I don't think you can make the argument that the Giants are a better team than the Raiders if they're losing the all-time series. Like, that shows we've literally beat you way more times than you beat us. Like, so who's the better team? Like, no, the Giants are the better team. They just lost to the Raiders more times.
I would say the Giants are. How many Super Bowls do you guys have? Just so I'm not.
The Raiders have 3 and the Giants have 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd say the Giants are slightly ahead of the Raiders, like mystique and achievement wise. Because
So mystique-wise, no one in the league is ahead of the Raiders because they're known as the penitentiary team. They're the team that always takes. No, seriously, they're the teams that took your Lyle Alzados and your guys that no one wanted. When they took Howie Long, that was like, whoa, wait, this guy's too nice. Have you seen how we play? They're the team of misfits and dirty players and the players that are just too. That's what the Raiders are. That's the mystique. Is like they will kill you. The Giants have never been that. The Giants are, this is New York, we're the Big Apple. The Raiders are that, I always had that prison mentality team.
yeah, I
That's
was
what they
going to say
are.
you were talking about getting mugged at the Meadowlands. It's better
Have
than
you
getting
seen
shanked in
Max
Oakland.
Crosby? I mean, if you looked at Max Crosby, you're like, what Supermax did you just get released from? Because that's how he looks.
It is unfortunately that time. We want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for commenting. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see y'all Monday.
Yep.